Somebody else will say their call dropped. Now, here is a response, and this is the metrics I'm showing you, right? So here is a response. We have the date, we have the time the person called, we have the status of it. The status of it shows what LTA has done, and in this response, resolved. So this pressing issue was resolved in this response. I think you can see it resolved. The point I'm making is we're holding these MNOs accountable. At one point in time, we find one of these MNOs, all because somebody's privacy was breached. That is in the Consumer Protection Regulation. People should not breach your privacy. It's all part of the Consumer Protection Regulation. November it was signed, it took effect after 60 days because that's how it is. It takes effect after 60 days. So it's pretty new, and as I said, it's the first time the MNOs are under obligation to the people of this country, and this regulation is meant to hold them to that. Just make that point.
Yeah, so I think that should be a last follow-up, then we'll go to him.
And my follow-up is a question to LTA. Yeah. Based on the response they gave provided to Honorable Jury and Honorable Collins, is it because it's now that you have a consumer protection regulation for which you have no way in the law to penalize these companies for constantly breaching? You give them license 1G, 2G, 3G to operate, and your technician has just said if you in a place of a 2G, you have rules indicated in the agreement. Things that they're supposed to do, things that they're not supposed to do. Yet, is it because there was no consumer regulation? That's why you fail to penalize these people? And your people continue to suffer?
So I will have to talk now for government continuity.
No. Your regulation.
I also talk for them.
Because I see some of the things here. Chairman,
I can quote it.
some of the things they share with us, they're indicating some should take nothing less than 10 seconds, some should take nothing less than 2 hours. That's not true. That's not true. So is it because in the absence of the consumer regulation, that's why you refuse to penalize these people?
Over the years.
Over the years? Even though in the license you say when you bring 2G, you must do this, you must do that. You waiting for consumer regulation? I don't want a yes or no to this question.
No,
It's a very simple question.
Yes or no? If you want a yes, sorry.
Yeah, it's a yes or no.
Johnson, 17.2 under the regulation.
Yes, Chairman. Chairman, that's my follow-up question.
Yeah, so here's why the agency of government applies with the authority to review their action and take the necessary steps. I think in our direction, the LTA has been able to come up with a regulation and also to add in what's the other one? Quality of service. So I think we are addressed, or maybe there were concerns from customers for which they came up with this regulation.
Chairman, this company is banging in our economy since 2000. They've been in our economy since 2000. Granted, 24 years, 23 years. I'm only saying.
Chairman,
that's our regulator. I think our regulator needs a whole lot of this again. I'm only saying, is it because of no this consumer regulation? That's the reason why you have not been able to penalize these people?
Inquiry, Chairman.
And they're walking away with millions of dollars?
Don't put that money back.
Yes, Commissioner.
It's not in a short while that our team, less than 6 months, right? We have taken actions for non-compliance with the regulator. At least 2 occasions, and they're here, they can relate to it. So it's not that we're not doing anything. When they're in violation, we issue fines. Okay, I think we even had a big press conference on one occasion where we issued fines, and it was in the public domain. So the regulations, the lack of legal regulatory framework did not stop this team from doing what they needed to do. Honorable is not here. You also mentioned about, the licenses will not monitor the regime we have in place. The license for its issued, well, most of them were in 2015, okay, and it's valid for 15 years. But now that we're sitting down now, it's an opportunity. You know, licenses can be reviewed, even though they have a 15-year term. I'm sure we can work with our legal people to see what actions we can take to put into place to do some amendments. But it's just that everything, you know, these are businesses too. We have the discussions, we issue the fines, we issue or whatever fees they have to pay, and they pay. MTN is here. The other company that was Orange, so we are doing things, you know, to do what we need to do. It's just that had they asked for specifics, we would have brought it.
Well, Commissioner, we are concerned about continuous disruption.
Yes.
Somebody is sick. They're trying to call the ambulance. These people, they are down. They are down. People are dying. People are losing. Somebody does transaction on mobile money. I was just hearing the monitor, you saw a voice. But the other service is SMS mobile money. Somebody is stranded and doing very important transaction. These people say,
Where are you? LTC, you are the state-owned.
Now, what I found the everyone
LTC, you are the state-owned telecommunication agency. And how can the Liberian people benefit from you in terms of what is unfolding in the sector?
So thank you very much, Honorable Chair and distinguished committee members. The issue at stake here is a huge tax for all of us in the country, right? And I listened to the Honorable from the G and Honorable Liberia, and I side with them, but it's the hard. Honorable von Miriam mentioned the issue of technology. The outages you see is not based upon technology. It's based upon different infrastructural challenges. And most of these challenges stands on the basis that in the rainy season, we all know it takes you a lot to go to Maryland, to go to Grand General. Most of these sites you see in the southeastern are ran by generators. Sometimes petroleum product water station. Some of them are transitioning to solar. Solar doesn't work for us in the rainy season. So there's a lot more going on than just technology. And in the sector, technology is scalable, like Honor mentioned. They're giving you 2G is a basis for the basic telecommunication infrastructure, which is voice and SMS. As you grow into different towers across all the 15 counties, but how do we connect to them? Until we can recapitalize LTC and position it, then we can say our role as a state enterprise to bridge the gap between the private and the public sector can be achievable.
The second information after dry season right now.
Why are you not preparing for the rainy season? When you have this a business, or running as a business. Yes. So, and I believe fundamentally we can get the idea.
So the question is, how do you feel giving your money that current services? That's theft. You steal from us. We pay our money and not provide the services. That type of service. And you want to mess around our rainy season? We pay for our services and you cannot provide the services.
But
and you can't get our money by the
dry season. Dry season.
And you are aware of the rainy season. So why will you take the money and you cannot provide the services? That's theft. Yeah. You are aware of that?
I want to know whether that
Right
is
now,
that is
the dry
that
season.
Just stealing from the people.
Chairman,
You take money and give services.
I don't want to put it to guys. Ask a quick question, please.
Our police will have 1 year in place. Yes, sir, Chairman. So we move to MTN.
Liberia government need to take the temple very seriously.
Thank you very much.
No, honestly, because they want to put it in
So prioritize.
Yeah, we're small.
Let's hear it.
We have 1 year in MTN. You are aware of The Telecommunication Consumer Protection Regulation. Are you aware of any regulation as such?
Yeah.
Were you part of the signing ceremony?
We have signed. Yes.
Did you sign it?
Yes, we have all signed.
And I guess you are aware of all the terms and conditions within the regulation.
That's true.
Are you also aware of the
Yes, Honorable.
your current operation in the Southeast? Is it in contravention with the two regulations in terms of the complaint raised by our colleague?
Honorable, if I may answer, on quality of service, which is there as a regulation, we are actually over delivering on the quality of service.
What? Over delivering.
Because there is a certain percentage above which the quality of service is there. So our generic quality of service is up more than the percentage which is required, because we try to maintain that. From time to time, when there is an outage, it goes below, but on an average for the year, for the month, it is above. And we have
Okay, so I will take you back to our hearing in 2024. In 2024, the honorable gentleman from District Number 3, River G County, Honorable Johnson S.N. Williams Sr., wrote similar complaint to the 55th legislature. The committee at the time to conduct this hearing. And during that hearing, your technician that said read by you there was also part of that hearing. You told us you had issues with your satellite. Has that issue been solved? And if it has been solved, what do we still have a repeat or a continual poor quality of your service in the Southeast?
Honorable, first of all, let me thank the members, because these situations also help us in bringing out what we are doing for Southeast. Now, as we speak, there has been some, like, I think Honorable Maryland had spoken about the capacity part of Maryland, right? You had spoken about, it doesn't matter 2G, 3G, 4G, what is the capacity? Like, why do you not increase the capacity? So as we speak today, right now, equipment has landed in those particular areas, and we are upgrading. So it is not a theory anymore that we are going to upgrade in the future. But it takes a bit of time to upgrade, because there are people on ground.
Excuse me. Did I hear you see equipment just landed
Where?
in the Southeast?
So, Honorable, what happens is that there are sites along the way from here to the
I
area.
got your agent number. I will call him. If the equipment and then you have what to do.
So,
Let us get that clear. Did I hear you say equipment just landed in the Southeast?
no, Honorable, let me clarify myself.
Okay.
What happens is that when you do the capacity increase in a particular area, there is equipment like a transmission dish and all which has to reach that particular site, right? So what I'm saying is that the equipment has reached those sites, it has to be put on the site. It is heavy equipment, like 3 meter plus tower, dishes and all. This has to be lifted, the old one has to be removed. That takes a couple of weeks to implement. So we are looking at maybe a month and a half. We started investing in that area more. So that what happens is that in the next maybe a month and a half, those sites will have extra capacity to take more traffic, because one of the complaints is that many times you are trying to call your free dial 1 or 2 times. So I'm not getting into specifics, but we are trying to solve most of the problems of transmission, which could be voice, or SMS, or data related. It's for Southeast in general.
You told us, or your entity told us, that you had a plan on the way to migrate from satellite to microwave. How far are we? How many new towers were erected within the southeastern corridor to address the issue of the quality of service?
Honorable, if I can allow CTO to answer in specific so that we have the answer to their land issues in Southeast India.
And let me just say to you, the information you are about to give us, we will take it key. Because we'll jot it down to know the number of new towers that were built last year. And this committee, along with LTA, we have to make a trip in the Southeast to go and verify the towers that you say you erected in 2024. So I just hope when you provide this information, it should be very, very, let's say, clear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to reiterate there's two concerns, or two challenges in this discussion. One being the riveting itself. If you recall, you mentioned that we addressed the solution in the past where we had a problem with our BSAT technology. That was subsequent to interference, which we resolved within 6 or 7 weeks after the hearing with the committee. So Rivergy is still connected to MTN's data center using a BSAT link. And then subsequent Maryland. I think the important thing to draw for Maryland is that Maryland is connected to Monrovia through a series of microwave hub links. These are all interconnected from the capital all the way to Monrovia, estimated almost 1,000 kilometers away. In that connectivity that we have to Maryland, at any given time there could be a disruption on any one of the microwave backbones that we have. And we have 28 of them connecting the capital to Maryland. During disruptions, it is possible that when we do have an event or an incident, that Maryland could be disrupted because the only means of carrying traffic from Maryland to our data center is through these microwave backbones. We have, over the last 2 years, upgraded that. We started off, I recall 2 years ago when our microwave backbone was below 800 megabits capacity, and we've now upgraded that to a 3 gig capacity. So over the last 2 years, the capacity, the traffic in Maryland has increased, and we continue to upgrade that. Our CEO just referred to equipment that's landed in Maryland. Over the last 3 months, since November, we've started to see an increase in traffic between Pico and Harper. We've taken it upon ourselves to upgrade that link for highlighting Maryland. Rivergy, coming back to Rivergy and subsequent other parts of the southeast region, unfortunately, the locations where our towers are situated, they are still too far away from the microwave backbone. So we have no choice but to keep connectivity through VSAT. We are in the process of talking to multiple partners with new technologies in satellite communication like LEO satellite regarding building of new towers. We are building towers, but they do take a long time. We started
in 2024.
We've started in 2024 to acquire.
Build tower.
We have built
Because
towers.
you gave us your plan, and the committee still has the report that you gave us, and you told us within a specified period of time you have done some towers within the southeastern corridor, and you even told us that you are going to create a bypass to the backbone that you have, so that if this channel has a problem, you'll be able to bypass it and connect to the other. Did you do that?
We have 4 sites that we are planning. We didn't get to build it in 2024, but we started the process in 2024. That is to connect Greenville up towards Nipper. We have 4.
So in 2024, you didn't build no new
We
site.
didn't build new
So
towers.
it means that why the problem still persists in the southeast.
We've upgraded existing towers while we are planning to build new ones. So over the course of this year, we expect to bring in more backbone redundancy for Maryland.
But there's something that is
Yeah, information.
The information here is if you are communicating from tower to tower with the microwave and the same structures that you have there remain the same, you are not solving the problem. If you improve the capacity, yes, once there's transmission, the will be affected. But once any of those towers are down in between, Maryland will strictly be affected. So if you have VSATs, you can build towers, or you can improve or increase the VSATs in areas in which you know the connectivity between the microwaves are breaking down. Put 1 or 2 VSATs Well,
In theory, yes, that sounds like a solution, but VSAT capacity
I'm
is...
sorry, I'm not a practical man, but I'm an engineer. I also know that I'm an electrical engineer.
You mentioned the VSAT capacity is extremely expensive.
Expensive,
We have
I
to
agree.
address it with the right...
But you have to
So,
find a solution. The backbone is not
inquiry,
easy,
Chairman.
it's not easy to do it.
Chairman,
So this problem is
inquiry,
going to
please.
So that gave the resource. Yeah.
Chairman, so is the mobile and the GSM companies telling us that it is impossible for them to provide quality services in the southeast? Is this what they are saying?
You can your report and you ask for certain
No, this is what we want to know. Is it impossible now for them to provide us with quality services in the southeast?
Let me answer this honorable's question. What we are trying to give out here is our improvement plan. Like, what are the challenges out there? What are the challenges faced by the people of Maryland? And what is it leading to is what we are trying to solve. So, since November, when the Honorable Chair and Honorable Members asked for a solution, what we are trying to give you is a solution. We have never said that we cannot solve it. What we are saying is each technology comes with a cost. So what is happening today is that in Maryland, from here to Maryland,
Yeah, but MD, I mean, there's nothing free that is being offered when it comes to the mobile phone service. Everybody's paying for the service. So it's definitely cost. What we want to know, how can you improve the service delivery to the people in the South? That's what we want to know. And how can it be done? When can it be done?
So the question which Honorable asked is a very important question. And that's what CTO was, Chief Technology Officer was trying to answer. To the Chair, can I conclude, please? Yeah. So was trying to answer is that for Maryland particularly, there have been some capacity issues which we are solving as we speak. It will take a month and a half for equipment to be erected and your capacity will be doubled. That is something we are working on now. The second is that there are certain modernizations which have happened in 2024 as more technology, like somewhere it is 3G, we are converting to 4G and all. The third which we are doing is in 2025, we are also trying to build 3 or 4 new sites. Where there are gaps we have seen, we are also building. So the point we were making was that, we could, because of, we couldn't build it in 2024, we are now building in 2025. But that doesn't mean that we are not trying to solve the issues. So as we speak, there's a continuous improvement program which we have implemented already. So this is what we are trying to,
So
Yeah, Chairman, thank you. I want to follow up on that because initially I asked a specific question on 3 sites.
Yes,
I still need a response. And the other information I want to provide for you, one of the sites, which is in Webo Chronicle, is situated on the premises of the very RTTI. That tower, the people go across the river. Strangely, they have to cross, go into Arcos, and the network is just all around the place on Cocoa Farm. But in the town where the tower is, you can't get network. So again, it boils down to the 4G thing. You need to explain. Why is that happening? We need to know. How people can be crossing the river to go make calls when the tower is right in the town. Yes. So what's causing that? So this service we're talking about is voice, is SMS, and
Earlier, those 3 locations that you mentioned, Fishtown, Kawakit, and Werner, we have them connected to our internet network through our VSAT satellite backhaul. The reason, as I illustrated, is that these remote locations are too far away from our microwave backhaul to connect them. So we are limited to VSAT on these sites. They are 2G technology, and for obvious reasons, given that 2G technology is not so prone in terms of capacity, we're able to support 2G. To activate 3G and 4G high-speed data on those particular 3 sites would require a very high VSAT backhaul, something that, in terms of capacity and cost, far outweighs the traffic demand that we have there. So we're not able to activate any 4G yet. We do have plans, especially the southeast region.
have you done your feasibilities to understand whether the market there doesn't have the power to purchase? Because what I know is that people in the villages right now have the money to buy scratch cards. and they are not having the service.
We have, and that's the reason why after that, we 2,500 towers within the southeast region to upgrade them. Where we see feasibility of expanding the VSAT, this is a step that we're taking.
So what's the cost of going across the river to go make call in the town again?
Coverage is radio coverage. It's radio coverage. As you can imagine, terrain impacts the coverage footprint.
It boils down to assessment. And you're talking technology, you should know better than I do. Like when you erect a tower, you should be able to cover this particular area before you go. But I'm saying in the town, the people living in the town, it's difficult for them to get signal. You cross Ivory Coast, or in the cocoa farm.
Now where signal is?
So what kind of assessment you have done, and you put a tower and the people can benefit?
We take the point.
Okay, the committee are taking note of that.
Okay.
Thank you, President, co-presiding colleagues. I would want to know from you, because sometimes feedback are intended to improve or upgrade a system, right? Do you have in place any mechanism through which feedback are being given you or complaints are being given you by your consumers? LTA, I want you to listen to this question because I will be making a follow-up to you as per what's in front of me, please. I'm asking them, I started by saying that feedbacks are intended to improve any given situation or entity. I'm asking if they have in place any mechanism through which consumers can give complaints or feedback. Can you speak to that?
So, Honorable, I'll try to answer that question in two parts. Part one is feedback from the consumers. We have call centers. The customer can call the call center, and we do take feedback like that, which is based on services and all, which we put into a system. Like we have our own Excel sheets where we put the whole thing and we figure out where are the services to be improved. So this is something we capture. The second is from the system itself. What we also do is we look at the handset type which is attached to those sites, because over the years people keep upgrading. So new type of handsets which Honorable had asked, like smartphone latching. So from the system we see what kind of handsets are latching, what type of handsets are latching, smartphones, button phones and all.
Okay, let me just say it in the most simple terms, please. I'm saying, because if you have had a means through which complaint are brought to you, we would have been at this stage. The consumer from the Southeast might have brought this to your attention in time past, and you would have worked on it. I'm asking, you didn't hear about somebody complaining, or have you heard about it from the Southeast?
So, Honorable, what we were trying to answer was that if, the CTO was mentioning some time back that if you look at 1.5 to 2 years back, our capacity on Maryland was hardly 800 Mbps, which meant that we couldn't carry too much of data traffic, but it was purely voice. In the last 2 years,
You're not answering my question. Do you have any means through which, have you received any complaint from the Southeast in the past?
We do.
How?
On the call center.
Just from the call center?
Yeah, we have a call
Because
center.
what I'm saying, Madam Acting Chair, Article 14.3 of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority Consumer Protection Regulation speaks to that. I think they are invalid. Besides the call center, you have said in this regulation that it must have specifically an area for complaints. So if people on the South even bringing this to their attention, I get a call center where someone will do that. These are your consumers, these are your customers. So if you put in place this method through which they can get to you, we will not be.
Yeah. Okay, to the technician from MTN.
Thank you for the information you provided that there are equipment on ground to be mounted in 1.5 months to improve the quality of the service. My concern, again, is about the outage. And as you indicated that because you got 28 microwave stations, any break or any outage at any point is going to affect you. And you also explained that your backbone is not reaching as far as Maryland. I think that is your redundant link you're talking about. If you can improve, you try to do it from Sino to Branch there. That is why you said. Is there a way to connect to River G? That way it will be able to spread out to Maryland. And if it is not possible, what are you thinking about? How are you going to correct this? It's going to be a perpetual problem. Even if you improve the capacity on the ground with the tower, with new equipment, once there's an outage with any of the 28, Maryland will be impacted negatively. I'm just concerned about that. You are the technician, you got to find a way, because that is the problem of our people, frequent outage. And that is why we're asking you, what is the cause of the network going off and on? The issue with River G, the tower he talked about that is in Toronto is at the highest peak in the whole region. The highest peak. And what he raised about transmission, I don't know how it's happening, that coverage is going out into the Ivory Coast beyond the river, and those that are right under the tower are not receiving coverage. If your radius is going that far, I think it should also drop here. You need to do an assessment and find out the problem. Last concern with you. We got a sister company in Cote d'Ivoire, and across the river from Toronto, there is a town Tiboto with similar facilities that you run, but it's perfect. Is it possible, since your backbone cannot be extended from Sanyo, for you to work with your sister company and extend something right along the river, and that is going to impact Toronto, which is River G, Branch and Maryland. Those three can easily be, if you can work with your sister company. I don't know whether it's that you got that kind of relationship. But the tower in Tiboto, right, Johnson, in Tiboto is effective. And they provide 4G. So if they are doing that and you got sister company, as soon as you cross over, as soon as anyone receives signal from that tower, is roaming. Roaming is going to pay extra. I don't know the LTA with you. We were trying to sign recently something about I think free roaming or something. If it works too, or if it is possible, that can also happen. And if you do that, that will improve the services in the whole Southeast, starting from Grand Chile. Then now to LTA. LTA, thank you for this manual. You say it was signed on November, right? I agree. If you start with the objective, which is 3.0, but specifically with B, yeah, the regulation. Yeah, 3.0 B. If you read B, it's interesting. It says to protect the interests of consumers against unfair practices, including matters relating to availability and quality of telecommunication services, equipment, facility, carrying, blah, blah, blah. I think this is your whole responsibility. This matter that we are discussing, and I read further somewhere that you have the right, I think 17.2, you may, I think 17.2, if I get it quickly, that's 17.2, yeah. Telecommunications service provider shall 17.16. Okay, 16.3. When resolving consumers' complaints, the LTA may, and that's the word I have a problem with. I think you need to change that may to shall. You say may, that means you can do it or you may not do it. Let me read it again. When resolving consumer complaints, the LTA may direct a telecommunications service provider to restore a consumer service in whole or in part, or to implement any other remedy. So you got a right to put in some remedy, but the phrase is too weak. When you say may, then not force. That you're the legal people. So please enforce it. if you are the regulator, you should enforce. There are so many. If we read 5.2, 14.0, 14.1 on page 8 and page 9, all of these things constitute your power. I think you have a way of holding our service providers responsible according to this resolution for a resolution for them to do the right thing. I'd like to say close on this list.
Okay, so yeah, so I know from co-chair and those are public hearing here, I've received a message, and I would just want to just explain a little about it. The two of you are part of coach, right? Yeah, sure. Okay. I got a text message informing me from Southern Maryland that MTN is carrying on some promotion, some advertisement that are not true. They are looking for your promo in the Southeast to send to us. Once that is done, I will just want to let the regulator know that it's a violation. Please take note of what I'm just told you. Yeah. Besides that, Commissioner, the Appendix A, regulation is on page 14. 1.3.1 that speaks to violation. It says that false or misleading promotion, advertisement, or claims about services, quality, pricing, and availability.
So we look forward to that complaint coming, and this is why we are this year setting up 3 call or service centers across the country. One will be in Maryland County, one will be out of Maryland branch there, the other will
Maryland.
The other will be in Limba, Bong, and then the Western region, so that people can walk in these areas and complain.
Chairman.
Thank you very much. From the ministry, yeah.
So then you will just put it, you can do it close.
So Chairman, whilst we are about to close, the prime objective of this public hearing is for these mobile phone companies to render quality, consistent services to the Southeast, Maryland County as well.
Liberia.
Telecommunications. One man, Nigeria, I agree with you. I agree with you. For Maryland and the Republic of Liberia. So as we leave from here, I hope the LTA and I hope the GSM companies will consider improving the services in these regions. And also there are places where there are no networks at all. I hope that you will also consider, placing networks over there so that our people have access to communication. It is the constitutional right. If you have any issue getting some extra information in the Southeast, I understand you have a team, but kindly liaise with us as well. Then we can work with you to ensure that you supply people's information. Thank you very much.